everyone, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to my F1 2022 alternate mod. Today I'm going to show you for all the liveries that are going to be there, all 11 liveries I should say, that are going to be taking place in this series. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, I had a few issues with some of the liveries, which I'll go into. Helmets as well. I've only been able to update a couple of them as well, due to a slight hiccup with the game files as well. So I also am not a helmet modder, so all the helmets are not the new ones basically. But again, it is an alternate mod. This is the series that will take forward throughout. There'll be a series, a video every Friday. I'm planning for every race weekend, starting this Friday. Let me know who I should drive as in the comments below for a last to first challenge around Bahrain on Friday. I might stream that as well, depending on what's going on Friday as well. But let's move to Mercedes then. Yes, I had a little bit of an issue with Mercedes because it's a light. They've obviously gone back to silver, but the silver that they've got on their car is a different type of paint to the black Mercedes, which is why it doesn't look that realistic. It's very light silver, if that makes sense. The numbers also in black, I should point out. That's purely because Mercedes kept changing it. Annoyingly, Mercedes kept changing it literally every 5 minutes as well, which was really annoying as well. The Mercedes logos also took painfully long to put on the car as well, so that's why the paint, I don't know if I'm going to redo the paint or not. It is a silver car nevertheless, silver grey. I did try and have a look at F1 2019's paint, but that was horrific as well. Yeah, other than that, not a lot's changed to this car, to be honest, other than Ineos on the rear wing. That's been updated. Can't change that rear wing to red, unfortunately, so that stays as the silver, and I've added a few of the other logos as well to the front wing. Moving to Red Bull then, an easier car to make, although saying that, the Oracle logos on the side were an absolute pain to make, because obviously that's on the paint file and not with the sponsors file. For those of you not familiar with modding, there's two files, one for the paint of the car and one that has got all the sponsors and copies and paste them all about as well. So the Oracle logo was a little bit tricky to fit in. I've tried to line up as best as I can with each side, but it's not perfect, to be honest. Obviously the number one, it's not as fat as it is in real life, which I prefer this number one than that one. The Bybit logo as well, obviously there to fit. It looks better on the rear wing than it does on the back of the front of the rear wing, excuse me, the back of the rear wing. That makes sense as well. Yes, so obviously this is a car, the reigning world champion as well. It's an easy car. I haven't changed the paint at all, so thank you. At least that's one Rebact for Red Bull making Gopping yellow. If you missed my liveries video, tier list video, I recommend go and check that out. But yes, simple. One of the simpler ones to make. Now McLaren, which was this livery. I'm not going to lie, obviously they've changed it as well. The blue was horrific. I've tried my best with the blue. I'm not entirely sure with it. Obviously I've just kept the blue. I haven't decided to go with the black, more black that they did, purely because it looked a bit bland as well. The blue looks a little bit better on the side there for me personally. I've fiddled about with the Alteryx Analytics logo. I've put that in on the top as opposed to on the side of the rear wing. That's purely because of sponsor placements with this McLaren Sashi. That was the best place to put it, the Hilton logo as well. I have been able to put a black back of the rear wing like they do have in real life. The McLaren logo obviously Husky Chocolate was there previously, but they disappeared at the end of last season from the McLaren car. I think they've disappeared because they were also sponsors as Alfa Romeo, but I think they've disappeared completely as well. Coca-Cola have also disappeared, so yes. The other sponsors, to be fair, were actually okay. You just had to research a lot of research into likes of Smart Sheet, Easy Post, and GoPuff. Companies I've never heard of, but they're on the car, so they get to go on. Aston Martin are next. The rear wing, first of all, haven't created the Aramco look on that rear wing, which I personally prefer that they didn't do that on the rear wing with that Aramco, that blue to green, lighter green look. I have recoloured the Aston Martin, the dark green, because I think they've recoloured it slightly, so I've added that recolour as well. The Cognizant logo was a pain because their website, that logo which is on the car, is nowhere else. It does not exist. Their website's still got the old logo on as well. So obviously Aramco still on the rear wing, but obviously with the Aston Martin background on their background on the rear wing as well. The Aramco logo is a little bit different on the side as well compared to real life. That's just purely because the way that the sponsor that was there is fitted in basically, so that's why that's like that. Obviously lots of Aramco and Cognizant logos because they are the big sponsors as well. Other than that, not a lot has changed with that mod. I've recoloured obviously make it the fluorescent green on the sides, and also the Aston Martin logo has also been recoloured to be the fluorescent green like it is now in real life. Now we move to the first of the two Alpine cars. Yes, I made both Alpines. Yes, this blue one, it looks okay on the front, but I'm unsure about the number. The problem with the number is it replicates from the back and the front, that side and the front. So that's the only little bit of annoying. Which also the Alpine logo, the white doesn't really suit the pink. That's the only negatives that I don't really like. Other than that, I've put the Mapfre background to pink because it's red in real life for some bizarre reason. So it's a proper BWT Alpine livery as opposed to BWT on the back and then an Alpine livery on the front. It's doing both. It's doing both jobs, I think. Recoloured the Alpine colour to the darker blue that they've gone through for this season as well. BWT on the rear wing, it does not fit whatsoever, but there we go. Also replicated on the sides. You're going to see in a minute with the other livery that there is a little bit of implications with that as well. So yes, that's just unfortunately the limitations that we have with these liveries that, due to the sponsor slots that we've got available as well. I can only go to a certain extent with those sponsors, otherwise they'll not appear in other positions on the car. And to the other Alpine livery, the pink one, I basically reversed the colours so that the pink is the dominant one and the blue is better. I think this would have been a better livery than their Racing Point style livery, personally speaking. The BWT is blue, but it doesn't work well on the rear wing. That's the only thing to think about. I will be driving this car at Saudi Arabia as Fernando Alonso, so that stay tuned for that episode. Will be coming a week on Friday as well. Obviously Alpine have acquired a few more logos as well, but the problem is that some of these companies don't have a big presence. They're not massive companies out there as well. This livery works better, by the way, with the number personally, and the Alpine logo on the rear. So, but then it doesn't quite so work with the BWT logo. So There's a trade-off there between there. I mean, personally speaking, if it was up to me, BWT and Alpine, it's a colour clash personally, but there we go. It's not the colour pink that I would have personally have chosen. I would have gone for the darker pink rather than the lighter pink, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, Ferrari next. Now, again, limitations with this one. It might be the favourite livery for a lot of you in real life. In the game, there's limitations. All I've done is been able to do what I've been able to do in career mode, driver career mode, change the rear wing to black. That's pretty much the limit that I can go for with the paint, unfortunately. The Saver Logistics logo is also very small, as is the Santander logo on the rear, on the side. If I'm pronouncing that Saver, it's Seaver, whatever you're calling it. That's small because it's replacing the UPS logo, which is obviously not that size. I put Velas in place of the Shell V-Power logo because Velas is on the rear wing in real life, on the back of the rear wing, which we don't have option on this car. Santander is small under the number. There's a reason for that, because on the inside the front wing is also the same Santander logo, so if I go any bigger it will just blot out there as well. But I have put it in on place on the front wing, in the placements it's already got as well. And of course black numbers like they've got in real life. White numbers probably be a lot better with this car. AlphaTauri, interesting one here. I've decided to go, it was either go with a white rear wing or a white front wing, and I decided to go with a white front wing as well. Obviously the front wing's blue in real life, but the limitation in the game. I basically flipped the car colours to give it something a little bit different from the default. The Fashion Meets Function logo is from a photograph of a car, so it's not the best one. It's also I've also rearranged it as well, but I have put all their new sponsors on as well. As I said, it was because obviously they've gone with this half and half style from last year's livery, where the front wing is dark blue, that dark blue AlphaTauri colour, but the back of the car is still white. With the 2021 car, I can only do one or the other, so I've decided to change it up in the end and go with the white at the rear, in contrast to what was in 2021, which was blue at the rear and blue everywhere pretty much as well on that. Just quickly on the front wing, you will notice, if this ever pans around in time, you will notice that there is a big gap between some of the sponsors. That's just based on what AlphaTauri had. I haven't missed any, I haven't wiped any sponsors there. That's just what the AlphaTauri front wing looked like on F1 2021. With that massive, for some reason, I mean they don't have many sponsors anyway, but for some reason, as you can see, it's coming around now, there's a big gap on the front. That's purely because of what's in game. Can't move it down any further, unfortunately. Alfa Romeo, personally, in real life, one of my joint favourite livery in 2021. It's a little bit iffy, this livery, because the All-On logo in red basically repastes itself onto the front of the halo, which is really annoying, which I've put the front of the halo in the Alfa Romeo red. Obviously the Alfa Romeo word mark has been added. Unfortunately they've added Tonale, I think it's a new car for them or something, so I've tried to add that for the side, but then obviously that's been replicated onto the rear wing as well, as you can see there. So I thought rather to try and be a little bit more realistic with that, to have tonight, it was to either have Alfa Romeo and then the logo, or to have the word mark, and I went with the word mark and just to change up a little bit from their logo, which they've changed up from previous years, having that word mark there rather than the Alfa Romeo logo, as it is still on the front wing. But other than that, I mean, this is the delivery that I'm the most happy with, to be honest, other than the one or two minor niggles which I can't really do much about, unfortunately. As well, front wing sort of ran out of space. There was one sponsor that I couldn't fit on, unfortunately, so that's just the limitations of the front of the car, as well. But other than that, it's one of my favourite liveries on the grid. Haas, yes. Now, Haas is a little bit different to what it is in real life, because I've added a sponsor that's not there in real life, Jack and Jones. As well, you notice Transfer Mate, which is on the inside the front wing in real life. There isn't that option on the game, so I've added that in place of the on that front wing as well. Jack and Jones logo unfortunately looks a little bit squashed. Paces on the side. That's purely to get what the game does, and it did that to the Uralkali logo as well. But other than that, the red, obviously in real life, I really like this livery as well. If it only wasn't that Jack and Jones squishing, it would be probably my favourite livery. I will definitely be driving this car at some point during this series as well. I'll probably do a last to first challenge as Kevin Magnussen, maybe. I know there are a few of you out there that are very excited to see Kevin Magnussen back in Formula 1. I'm interested to see what Haas can do, because they had I've criticised I've called their car a garden shed for this year, but the pace they showed in pre-season testing, it looks like an actual F1 car for once, unlike the bit of cardboard it was last season. So fair play to Haas if their car does look quite good as well. But I do like what I've done with the red swishes as well. Looks a lot better than the real life car, is a lot plainer, so definitely happy with this one as well. And the final livery, Williams. Yes, the team that's set to be bottom in 2022. I haven't done a lot with this livery. I've just literally changed where it was orange to red. Again, there's not a lot that I really wanted to do anyway. As well, it looks a little bit like BMW M Sport colours, to be honest, with the dark blue, the light blue, and the red. Personally speaking, but yes, a lot better than what Williams came up with in real life. As well, if you watch my liveries tier list. Not a lot of sponsor change for Williams. I've had to change the rear wing because they've got Williams Racing on there now, so I'm had to play about with that, try and get it on the top flap. Duracell has been added to the car, but there's no slot for that when it's there, so I put the Dorilton Ventures logo in place of the Ponos logo, which isn't on the car for 2022. Or if it is, it's not in a place that I saw it was. It's not in the main place on the car, I should point out as well. So yes, as I say, not a lot has changed with this livery, because A, there's not a lot that I can do with the Williams, and B, what Williams have come up with in real life is worse. I would be happy if Williams raced with this livery in F1 2022, but they're not going to. They got some work. I don't know what they were thinking of with the patterning. Yes, I did criticise this livery when it came out, but it's a lot better than what Williams have come up with in real life. They might as well go with their 2019 livery with the one they've got in real life. Front wing as well, haven't been able to fit on all the sponsors, like with other teams. Unfortunately, I've got too many sponsors on the front for the slots that are there as well. And that is where I'm going to round off all this video. Obviously, I should point out all the cars have the new Pirelli 150 years logo on it now as well. So, yes, happy 150th anniversary Pirelli. Let's hope we can have some cars that we finally like. Sorry, not cars, some tyres. But yes, don't forget, let me know in the comments below, who should I race as on Friday? In Friday's video for a last to first challenge. Whoever's the most popular, I will do so. But yes, if you are new around here, then please do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. Until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.